Welcome back everyone to my channel. This is me, Prem Kumar. This video is all about focusing on English language requirement for UK visa, with a particular focus on skilled worker visa and the IELTS requirement. Basically, all the questions around how much score you need, what are the changes in the immigration requirements recently, do you need to do IELTS once or multiple times for your extension, for your ILR, for your citizenship. All those questions I'll be answering and detailing in this video because I have been through that process. I came to UK on a skilled worker visa. I had my extension, I had my ILR, I had my citizenship, and now I'm a British citizen. So I have been through all that process, and I keep following all the requirements that keep changing every now and then by UK government, UK immigration. So in this video, I'll be telling you each and everything from the requirements and how do you manage that going forward. Before getting into the details of IELTS itself in terms of scores and all those bits, let me just give an overview of what government of UK says as part of their skilled worker visa process in terms of English requirement, that you should be able to speak, read, write very well. And they provide 4 pathways, and any one of the pathway you can use to actually demonstrate the requirement. So basically the government says that if you have been in UK and schooled in UK, basically A-level, GCSE, then you should be eligible to satisfy that. Number 2, it says that if you are studying in a UK university, you've done some graduation from UK university or an institute of UK university somewhere else and taught in English, then of course you can satisfy the requirement. Now the 3rd and 4th pathway, which is quite relevant for immigrants like us. So basically, if you studied abroad and university in English, but again your university is not UK based, so a center of UK university, then you need to make sure you apply for an equivalent assessment from ECCTIS. Basically, they say that your level of English is on par with a UK university, and then you are allowed. For example, ACCA does satisfy that requirement easily, and then at the same time, for myself, CA Pakistan recently got the same accreditation as well. So your overseas institute, despite not being in the UK, can be on par with your UK institutes here in English requirement as long as you have the equivalence. And the 4th then is basically applying for English test like IELTS, like other tests, and that gives you an eligibility to satisfy the requirement of the English for the skilled worker visa. Now talk about IELTS itself. IELTS basically has some banding, some scores from A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. Basically the A levels are for basic users, B level is for somebody who's independent, C is for somebody advanced. So when I did my IELTS around 6-7 years back, I got an average score of 7 and almost 7 score in all my bands basically. So I got a C1 level certification. Basically that's more like an advanced version, but what you need to make sure is for your UK visa, there was requirement of B1 in past, and now there's requirement of B2 for future applications. Before I explain the change from B1 and B2 and how it may impact you, I'll just give you scoring guidelines. Basically, the B1 that we used to do in past had a minimum score of 4 in all bands, and then overall now B2 that's required for most skilled worker visas basically has a band of 5.5 minimum across all speaking, reading, writing and listening, and overall as well. So the English requirement has significantly increased from 4 to 5.5. That's for skilled worker visas. The students already had much higher bands required in past, so it's not targeted to students, it's purely targeted to skilled worker visa holders. Let's move from 4 to 5.5 now. So what has happened now is basically Home Office has required from 8th of January 2026 that all new skilled worker visa applicants have to make sure they satisfy B2 requirement, which is 5.5 score for all the bands and then overall as well. Historically, it used to be 4 score for all bands and overall. Now it has great implications for people who are coming to UK now, as well as the people who are already in the UK on existing skilled worker visa. So basically what's happening now is if you're coming to UK now after 8th of Jan 2026, definitely you need to get a higher score. There's no other way around, right? You need a minimum basic. But the people who are already in the UK and came to UK historically on the visa, if you came to UK 2 years ago on a 3-year COS 3-year visa, then you already came on a B1. You might have gotten a score of maybe 4.5. You satisfy the requirements. Now you are able to extend your visa. You are not obliged to go for a B2. You are able to extend your visa on existing your B1 framework. You don't need 5.5 score for your renewal of a skilled worker visa. You should be fine. But if you choose to any other sort of visa categories or anything else that breaks your skilled worker visa, then you need to make sure you are complying with the requirements for the new visa. But for now, for extension, you should be okay. And then at the same time, now if you want to apply for ILR basically in the future, now government have concrete plans to change the ILR requirements as well in the future. Basically they require you to have B2 at minimum for ILR. That means despite you coming to UK on a B1 level, which is a 4 score, you will be required to have minimum 5.5 score for your ILR application. So yes, you can extend and continue your application of a skilled worker visa, but you cannot be applying for ILR unless you got 5.5 score. And that change is coming from 26th of March 2027, so almost a year from now. So basically, for ILR, you would require a higher band for your IELTS application, and you will not be able to use your older band if you had less score. Now see, most of the skilled worker visa holders who are proficient, who are professionals, would have already got more than 5.5 score all across all the bands anyways. Because if I think of myself, when I applied for UK visa, I had very bad English in past, literally, I was struggling, but still I got around 7 score anyways. So I think most of the professionals should be fine, but the people who are on low paid visas or maybe not in professional roles might struggle with that. Now that's one thing. And the other point that most of the people have asked me, the question is, do I need to get IELTS again and again and again for your different applications, like initial visa first and then renewal and then ILR and then nationality? No, you don't need to. As I explained, the initial IELTS that you did to prove English abilities should be okay for your extension, and as long as it's meeting the standard required for ILR in future, which is 5.5 and band 2, you should be okay. You can use the same form. You don't need to do the IELTS again, and same will go for your nationality application as well. So hopefully this clears some doubts in terms of what's going on. The requirements are increasing, of course, and you just need to be more proficient. It may increase even more in future, you never know, but for now 5.5 is what you'll be aiming for. Hopefully this helps. Thank you so much for watching.